Okay, so the back side of the neck is more narrow on the top and wider on the bottom, and if you turn in the front, it's vice versa. It's wider on the top and more narrow in the bottom. Let's draw that feature, and it's because of the two muscles. One muscle is Sternocleidomastoid muscle. I will explain you what I mean with that and why it is so funny name. And from the back, that's Trapezius muscle. It's narrow from the top and wider from down. So that's Trapezius muscle. Let's look at the anatomy model. So okay, here we have, this is Sternocleidomastoid muscle. It has one end behind the ear, and it has two ends on the torso, and that's basically what determines the name of the Sternocleidomastoid. It basically, in the name there is this the address of the origin and insertion. So it originates from the sterno, which means like the chest bone. This is the chest bone. Kleido, which in Greek means clavicle, and mastoid means this mastoid process on the back. Okay, here we have, so this is the mastoid process here. This is the mastoid process. As you can see, it's located behind the ear. This is the chest bone, and this is the clavicle. Let's bring this guy back. So these two muscles originate from the one end, more narrow and pointy, originates from the sternum, and more wider and flat originates from the clavicle, and then they meet each other, and then they create one kind of semi-flat muscle, and then insert into the mastoid process. Okay, so let's try to create the shape of it. So we have sternal end. Also we have clavicles, which is S-shaped. Yeah, those are the clavicles. Later I will show you the clavicles as well. And then it inserts here in the back. So let's create the shape here. So that's the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And then it splits in two. One is flat end, another end is more narrow. And then they create like one silhouette here. And the clavicle is S-shaped, so let's go back. Maybe I will show you the. This is the clavicle, and as you can see, clavicle is S-shape. And in the middle there is this Adam's apple area, thyroid area. And let's draw the lines and see, is the forms in between those lines the same as on the left side, and if they are, then we can jump to the next level. If they're not, let's fix them. ClayBuildup with Alt pressed. Basically, it helps me shave away the clay if it's too much of the clay. So let's give more planes to have more control over the shape. As you can see, the trapezius muscle is also split. It's a paired muscle. So it has this diamond shape opening here, diamond shape opening, and you can see there's like a plane here. And we can just draw this line to separate this plane from the other planes. So this will be scapula, and scapula meets the clavicle. Scapula goes around the clavicle. And if we draw these two lines, we already have some area to flatten out with a hPolish. And we have some extra clay here, so we take ClayBuildup, press Alt and just remove it from there without thinking. And there is this, actually in live, there is this triangle here. There is this opening of the deeper layer of the neck muscles called scalene muscles. The triangle between the triangle opening between the between the trapezius and sternocleidomastoid muscle. Let me show you this triangle. Here you have the trapezius muscle, which inserts into the base of the skull, the nuchal line of the skull, and originates here from the lateral third of the clavicle and the spine of the scapula. And then there is this space in between the sternocleidomastoid and the trapezius muscle. And if you look from the front, you can still see the trapezius muscle. And if you look from the back, you can see the sternocleidomastoid muscle. But here you see the top side of the back is revealed, and here is the bottom side from the back is revealed. So just kind of, as I said, like the vice versa. The space in between the right and left pectoralis muscle, the chest muscles. And by pressing Alt, you make the line outward, and by releasing it, you get this line and you carve it in. So it's very handy to use this DamStandard. Constantly pressing Alt, you have a lot of control over the lines. So now it's negative line, and if you press Alt, it's positive line. And that's how you mark the borders between the shapes. It's very handy. So still see, here you have a lot of trapezius muscle, here is missing some. So we need to add some trapezius muscle by pulling with the move tool. But I choose to have, and see how it goes, I choose to have this ClayBuildup tool. Because sometimes you have more control over the process if you ClayBuildup. And I prefer using ClayBuildup with a lazy mouse maximum radius 200. Basically, it kind of the thickness of the clay that you're building up has more control. So here we have this line, but it seems like we're missing some thickness. So we add some, and we smooth it out by pressing the shift, and then we take hPolish with very low, basically 12 is quite a bit. We can even lower the Z intensity, and then we flatten out the cheek and see, is the shadow the same kind of like here, or it's not. Shall we add some more clay, or we remove some clay? And I constantly use the smooth tool because if you smooth it out, you kind of like, it helps you kind of like a zoom out. You have this general form, so you smooth it out and then you see, is this, because there is some traces that I just draw like with the with the clay. Basically I make line and it separates this plane from that plane, and when I smooth it out, you still have this differentiation, but the lines are not so sharp, so they are not, if there is a tiny inconsistencies, they are not confusing. So it's less confusing when you smooth it out constantly. And sometimes it's good, because when you smooth it out, you kind of still, after smoothing it out, there is some traces of your previous actions are still visible, and it gives like this depth to the shape. So basically shape becomes the form becomes richer when you use the smoothing out and the next layer and the next layer. So don't be afraid to experimenting and redoing. So you just add shape, take away, add and take away, and believe me, some of those shapes will still remain even after you remove them. So that's why it is very good. So it's the intensity, increase intensity. hPolish is it's amazing tool. So basically those are my favorite tools, like ClayBuildup, DamStandard, hPolish and Move. Basically those are the 90% of the whole tools that I use. I use only those tools. Of course, you can just pick, you can use like this quick access by using the shortcuts and pick for each action different brush. But I think you, if you will learn to do work with only 1 or 2 or 3 brushes, you will eventually you will benefit, because you don't lose time of changing your brushes. Even if you use shortcuts and it's very quick for you, as less tools you use, as quicker you can go on. So I think it's very handy. I think it's very good skill. As less tools you use, as faster you go, and you are not so much limited of thinking even like what tool I would use here or there. You just do, you know. And I learned it from the sand sculpting, like a sand carving, because there, you know, carvers, there's some carvers that are using like a whole bag of the tools, all types of the scapulas, but some use only 1 or 2, and those who use 1 or 2, they go much faster ahead, even though of course the quality sometimes you know, is not that good. But in the end, you basically you fix that quality issues, but at least you have form ready. So basically, it is very handy to learn, to not to be dependent on different kind of tools, but learn doing on just 1 tool. It is very good skill. So let's see, like the character of this guy is a little bit different, so I need to adjust the portrait likeness. Let's see what we can do. Somehow this part looks very narrow to me, so let's make it wider and see how it goes. Still, eyes are very big, and the face kind of looks, you know, long, and now it's better. Let's move it even more. Profile, maybe a little bit forward. So we have to do it kind of approximately, and then later when we will dynamesh in smaller polygons, then we will fix the tiny details. So that's why constant smoothing out is very handy at this stage, because you don't spend so much time on details in this resolution, and but you have very good general shape. So in this stage, the general shape is most important, so you don't waste your time on details. So there's an extra plane here. Let's add it. The shoulder muscle, deltoid. Still, the trapezius is too small. Okay, now it's better. It looks as if this face is kind of like a very long in this part. Maybe we have to move it back, I don't know. Yeah, now it's better. Okay. Sternocleidomastoid edge. Maybe when subdividing, when dynameshing, let's polish it and see what happens. Polish. Yeah. So you don't want to use this polish too much, because if you use it too much, you lose some of the details. So at this stage, polishing is okay because there is not so much to lose. But as later you go, as less you want to use it, because when you overuse it, then you just lose some of your work, and that's not very nice. You spend time of doing, and then by polishing you're losing the details. But sometimes it is very helpful to define the planes, especially if you carve this in this planes shape.